Deep within the mist-covered mountains, hidden from the chaos of the world, stood a monastery where monks trained in discipline, wisdom, and inner peace. Among them was Ryokan, an old monk known for his unshakable tranquility. The villagers often spoke of him, saying, "No storm can move his mind, no insult can rattle his soul." But one day, a warrior came to test that claim. The warrior, Hideo, was a man feared across the land. His sword had tasted the blood of many, and his temper was as sharp as his blade. He had fought countless battles, but one thing he had never conquered was his own rage. He had heard rumors about this monk, this old man who claimed to have mastered himself. A man who does not anger, impossible, Hideo thought. And so, he rode to the monastery, determined to break the monk's composure. The great wooden doors of the monastery creaked as Hideo pushed them open. Inside, monks in orange robes sat in silence, meditating in the golden light of the setting sun. In the center, beneath a tree, sat Ryokan, eyes closed, as still as a mountain. Hideo stomped forward, his heavy boots disturbing the peace. The other monks glanced at him, but did not react. "So you're the wise monk," Hideo said, voice laced with mockery. Ryokan slowly opened his eyes and looked at the warrior, his expression unreadable. "I've heard that nothing can make you angry," Hideo continued. "Let's see if that's true." Without another word, he began hurling insults at the monk. "You're a fraud, hiding here in the mountains while the real world burns. Your peace is nothing but cowardice." Ryokan did not respond. He merely watched the warrior with calm, steady eyes. Hideo's hands clenched into fists. His breath grew heavy. "You think you're enlightened?" he sneered. "You're just an old fool pretending to be wise." Still, Ryokan did not move. The air between them thickened. The monks around them held their breath. And then, Hideo struck. He raised his hand and slapped the monk across the face. The sound rang through the hall, but the monk remained as still as ever. He didn't flinch, didn't blink. Hideo stepped back, breathing heavily, waiting for a reaction, anything. But Ryokan simply looked at him with the same unshaken gaze. Hideo's anger burned hotter. How can he just sit there? "Why don't you fight back?" Hideo shouted. "Why don't you defend yourself?" At last Ryokan spoke. His voice was soft, but it carried the weight of mountains. "If someone offers you a gift, but you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" Hideo frowned. His anger faltered for the first time. "The one who offered it, of course." Ryokan nodded. "Then the same is true for anger. You came here with rage in your hands, offering it to me, but I do not accept it. So tell me, warrior, who still carries the burden?" Hideo's sword hand trembled. He felt his rage flickering, like a fire starved of air. For years he had carried this anger, wielded it, let it control him. He thought it made him strong, but now it felt like chains. The realization struck deeper than any blade. The monks around them watched as Hideo lowered his head. His fist slowly unclenched, and for the first time in years, he felt lighter. The lesson of the story, Ryokan smiled. Anger is not defeated with more anger. It is defeated when you refuse to carry it. Hideo fell to his knees, not in weakness, but in understanding. That day, he left his sword at the monastery and walked away a free man. Moral of the story: anger is a gift you do not have to accept. Let go of the fire. Don't let it burn you.